Lights, camera, action.
I'll call the meeting to order at 6:34. Anything to add or remove from the agenda?
Jim, can we add you just giving us a summary of our future Putney?
Sure, there's not much to say.
Okay.
All right, do we want to do that in?
It's actually, I thought
It was in my director's
it was a report.
and I put it there specifically because I would forget otherwise to get you to talk about it.
So maybe I can plug Jim in down and hold unfinished business.
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about?
It's our future Putney meeting.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad someone could make it.
Janice was there too.
Oh, right.
Actually spoke. Had things to say.
Janice did?
How
Cool.
surprising, right?
Thank you so much.
Did everybody get a chance to take a look at Trisha's minutes she sent out? Anything to change, add, omit?
I'm impressed by how much stuff we talked about
Yeah,
last night.
there's a lot of grounds. All right, I'll make a motion to accept the secretary's report as recorded. All in favor?
Hi.
Great, thanks, Trish. Kevin, do you have your final treasurer's report?
Oh, here it is. Oh my gosh, rounding the final corner.
Back have been working together to invent.
It's a big action.
I don't have anything to point out, actually. Everything seems pretty much in line. We've talked about the little things that are up over 100% that makes sense. Emily, do you have anything?
I don't
that points
know.
out?
I did not. No, other than our grants have been added to the miscellaneous grant income lines, the $5,000 over 2 grants that we got. Okay. Other than that, no.
Yep.
Yeah, nothing else.
Thanks, Kevin, for this and the previous. I don't think I could do the math like that quickly, but 90. Library director's report.
Yes. I know we'll talk more about the community supper later as we do a whole group recap, but I just wanted to let everybody know that we got lots of positive reviews about the food in the company, and everyone said that one's really good. The library does it, it's really good, and that's something I heard last time too. So that I think it's a credible statement. We had a staff meeting, and Heidi's settling in really well. She's the new person that's taken on some of Fiona's hours. I'm finishing up our annual statistics report for the State Department of Libraries. It was hampered this year by Baker and Taylor, who provide the software for tracking our statistics, going out of business.
Really?
Yeah.
Baker and Taylor?
Yeah, you're gonna have to Google this later, but luckily we don't use Baker and Taylor as a provider for books. We use Ingram. So we didn't get hit as hard as all the other libraries that use them for books, but now Ingram is majorly slowed down because every library is using Ingram now. We've had a lot of really great programs. Thank you for hosting. Ben,
It was
I
great.
appreciate that.
It was
Yeah,
wonderful.
that was a uncommonly
The
packed
sewer
week.
one.
The which
The
one?
sewer one.
No, I'm wondering that. This one is the dramatic reading of Ursula K. Le Guin.
Oh, cool.
It was excellent.
Yeah, Hidden Systems, the sewer one was also really good. He was great, and he's coming out with a new book about waste, which I wish was out now because we've had a lot of really good programs about that too.
Yeah.
And Abigail Littledale, who
Little field,
Little
it's my role to.
it's because I just altered the previous director report.
It was right, it was right somewhere.
Somewhere. No, it's right in all the PR.
Oh, it's right online.
It's incorrect at these meetings for Jim.
This way to see if I'm paying attention.
No, it's like I'm setting you up for a joke every time, and the joke is that Emily perpetually misspells this poor person's name.
And what is it supposed to be?
It's Little Field.
Heel.
Yes, thank you, Trish.
Yeah.
She had a really good art opening. And we're doing the online, or we're doing the Zoom series, the Writers Salon. We had our first one the night of Future Putney. It's
Nancy found us.
Yes.
Mhm.
Writing. Great. Hi, Nancy. Well, I don't think she can hear me yet. We had our first one of those. The next one is this week. And the Tiny Art Show was great. We handed out about 100 canvases and we've been getting about 70-ish back each year. It
Mhm.
was a really good show. And we're doing the Wyndham and Windsor Beyond Plastics
Mm.
partnership on the community read for The Problem with Plastic. You can pick up your copy of this book, which is novella length, it seems. So if anyone's intimidated by reading a whole book about it. Hi, Nancy. I think she's still connecting to audio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I just want to tell her that if her internet is slow, that she can turn off her video.
Can you hear us, Nancy?
Oh, no, maybe she can.
No.
I know, there's way too many balls in the air right
One
now.
of these things. I'm just gonna, Nancy, can you hear us? I guess that's a no. Okay. You guys will have to tell me if she reads that, or maybe it'll probably make a noise.
Yeah.
We've had plenty of great programs, and then there's a bunch of new things coming, and town meeting is kind of before all of them. And
Not a program.
not a program, but you show up and we have our table and we
Yep.
do a lot of, probably interact with more people there than a whole month of programs. We were working with Megmont to do something for the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence. We were planning on doing it sometime around July 4th, but people have been, I think, begging her to do something.
Mhm.
So we decided to do it in March, and that's coming up on
cool.
March 9th. Yeah, her angle is to focus on the original intent of the pursuit of happiness, which I think should be really good. And
What
we're
was the
doing
date?
The 19th.
March 19th. And we're going to do our intergenerational portrait program drawing event. I draw you, you draw me, which is always really sweet. And we do that on Saturdays. And the Peeps Diorama contest is coming.
Dollar store in Brattleboro, Market 32 has various colors and flavors.
Mm.
All your peep needs.
Mhm.
Thank you. Yeah, Amber sent a really compelling picture of all the.
I did.
I didn't know there were that many.
Nobody did.
I've never seen so many colored peeps.
Make it into a fundraiser for the library that we buy the peeps and then.
Mm.
Sell them at a.
Provide them.
Bad idea. Well, we can probably get in touch with the people and get it hosted.
We're not unique. We did not invent the Peeps Diorama. The Washington Post, I think, did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Nope. That.
So if you really want money scalping peeps.
The whole reason we do Peeps is because they're very accessible. And then nobody who thinks of themselves as not an artist has to like make a little guy.
They had Dr. Pepper
Sorry.
flavored peeps.
Oh.
There's some really unsettling ones. Yeah.
Are these available for?
Yes.
Yeah, they're on purpose. The building and grounds is just, we're waiting for the installation of the heat pump and the Powerwall batteries, which we'll talk about more soon.
Yeah.
like, When I ask you for the rest of the money to pay for them. I guess I didn't put anything under finances, grants, fundraising. There's nothing there other than that I'm working on the HUD grant, the big capital improvements grant. And the library trustees fact is the staggering number of people coming into the library year over year.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
Was
Is that
that,
sustainable?
I think about it all the time.
was that our tote raffle last year? Was how many people visited the library?
It's how many people visited the library per month or like our
Okay.
average per
Yeah.
month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now it's more. Tom Jason can't win.
Yeah.
Nancy, Tom, oh, did you hear us? Her husband won last year. He was like the first person to guess. And
Yeah, and
guessed,
he was like eerily accurate. I
Yes.
remember I was standing there.
All right, and that's it for me. Any questions on the director's report? Okay.
Thanks, Emily. All right, committee reports. Anything from finance?
No, I have nothing. We're a week early, so
Yes, we
Yeah.
I
don't have
haven't
the,
gotten them monthly.
right.
Okay. And institutional long range planning, did you guys have a chance to do the risk assessment?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we did the first chunk, but you
We-
could.
Yeah, we did the first chunk. Interesting. I mean, we basically used the landmarks template and then it was good discussion.
Yeah,
And you got my email
I
back.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now we're looking at, it's really good to just take a big step back. The process Susan and I were doing was one that the Landmark Trust, yes, the Landmark Trust, which she is the director of. Do I have your position right?
Yes.
More or less, okay.
More or less.
Susan's the director of the Landmark Trust. And they did a risk assessment of their properties, including, it's mostly climate related.
Well, yeah, it was under Vermont Business for Social Responsibility. We were part of the pilot project and it was climate resiliency because because of what happened up in northern Vermont with the flooding, a lot of people were interested in it. It was but it's a really good template to look at a lot of things. So I've been pushing it a little bit further with you guys.
Yeah. No, but it's great to take a step back and actually realize that we have been working on a lot of the things that it sounds like it brought up for the Landmark Trust. We also have one property and one building,
Right.
and not a whole bunch to worry about. So we're thinking about the drainage, doing the heat pumps, the Tesla Powerwall batteries and things like that are actually putting us in really good shape in this way. And those are all things that are in process or those things are actually all in process.
But the cybersecurity came up
I
as a
know.
big issue.
Yeah.
And I think that was good. that
Yeah.
Came up.
Yeah, so now I get to look through and decide how threatening each of the things is and apply colors.
So the basic concept of this is that there are a lot of things that you could worry about, but instead find out the ones that you have like the most cost to your organization or that would really kind of ruin your mission.
Mm.
Stuff like that. And then the other stuff, you just.
The
Right.
less likely,
Scenarios,
things,
yeah.
that you can't prepare for. Or
I wonder if there's, my son is enrolling in the cybersecurity program next year at River Valley Tech. And they were telling us that the state is putting like a lot of energy behind growing the cybersecurity industry because they see it as like not only like a good job market moving forward, but also like as a gap in the state, which makes me wonder if they have available resources
the state or
for, like municipal organizations to be like assessing their risk.
Well,
great question.
Champlain College had a cybersecurity
Mm-hmm.
program. And we got some technical assistance from them that ended up falling flat because they never followed up. But I wonder if there's other stuff too. Yeah.
Right. Well, a lot of times the company that provides the insurance
Right.
for the library and all the other municipalities offers grants and subsidies, and we've been able to take advantage of those for things like the security cameras. They also have like scholarship things that I don't think would be relevant to this because I'm not going through like a cybersecurity program to learn how to do the libraries. Anything, but they probably are generally they're thinking about the same sorts of things. So I should look into it, but I haven't heard about anything from them yet, but I'll definitely check. But that was something that did come up. And I was excited about the timing of doing this process with Susan because I'm writing a capital improvement grant for some federal money that the State Department of Libraries has secured for us.
Oh, awesome.
No, not for us, but for like.
I know, but is it connected to the grant that was dropped before, the big one?
It was, yeah, it was. They didn't drop it. They just suspended it indefinitely and ever not indefinitely till a mystery time. And the mystery time was this past couple of months
Oh,
when
I
they
see.
when they said it was active again. Right.
Hmm.
That's it for risk assessment.
Awesome. Thanks.
Now we can-
Yay. So nominating committee, we have new faces here with us tonight.
Welcome.
Maybe we can all go around and introduce ourselves really quick so that Lydia and Mike know who we all are by name. I'm Amber, I'm the chair of the board here.
Jim, I've been on the board for 2 terms, I guess. Is that something like that, 5 years?
Yeah.
And, lived in Putney since 1985.
I'm Penny. I've been on the board 2 years, I think.
You guys are all looking at me like.
And I'm Kevin, and I'm rotating off after 9 years as treasurer, and I work up at the Putney School.
That's crazy. 9 years.
My name is Ben Lord, and I work in local schools. I'm the science coach for the district, and I have been on the board, I think, for 3 years now because I fulfilled the last half of someone's like 1 year thing that they left early.
Yeah.
And then so I am 2 years into my first full term.
Yeah.
I'm Emily. I know both of you guys as library patrons. I've been here, this is my 11th year here, and it's great.
Yay.
Trish, I think I'm the only board member who doesn't live in Putney technically. It's not good. I think Ben and I joined at the exact same time.
Pretty much, yeah.
And I'm the secretary and I have a really hard time talking and typing at the same time.
But she takes awesome minutes.
Oh, sure. Nancy?
Can you hear me?
Oh, we can, yes.
You can hear me?
You're not saying.
I'm Nancy.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
I'm Nancy. I've been on the board for a year.
And I got introduced before. I'm Susan. I've been on the board for a little over a year, like a year and a half. And I live in Putney. For a long time.
Sweet. Lydia and Mike, do you guys want to tell us a little bit about yourselves and what you're interested in and being on the board?
Sure.
You want to go first, Lydia?
I'm Lydia Matheson. I live right up the road, right above the cemetery up there. And my partner and I have got 2 little kids who own those. Come to the library all the time. I work in Brattleboro for Winston Prouty. And we, as a family, are obsessed with the library. So it kind of just like making different connections, talking to Janice, led me to there being a position open on the board. I have a past of working in libraries also. And that's about it. I'm really interested. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
Thanks.
My name is Mike. I also work at the Putney School with Kevin. My wife Allison and I both work up there. We have 4 children, 2 of whom are now students there, 2 of whom are at Putney Central School. We are very grateful for the Putney Public Library having no limit on the number of books you can check out. A very relaxed approach to overdue files. It's a little staggering to hear that you've been here 11 years, Emily.
I don't.
I know.
I'm shocked as well.
And I don't have a background in working in libraries, but I've spent many of them and have collected a variety of Vermont small town library cards. But I do have some background in finance and feel comfortable with numbers and spreadsheets. So, and I'm interested in finding a way to perform some sort of public service in a highly functional body. Seems to be. Slightly alarmed at the ambiguity of how many years people have been off. Only people who seem to know it.
It's actually really funny because I was just looking at this list to confirm who was up for read.
Yeah.
So I like should know all the dates, but
And are
and
any of
you
us?
threw me because I knew you and Trish joined at the same time, but you
Yeah.
weren't up until next year. And I was like,
Yeah.
I swear Trish and Ben came
Uh-huh.
to the same meeting and we asked them to answer the following question,
Yes.
which is, do you have a favorite book?
They
Or many favorite books.
Yeah, I think neither of us were contained ourselves to just one.
And that's the right answer. Sorry.
I think I have a lot of favorite books and they also change, but I think my longest standing love is His Dark Materials series by Philip.
I approve.
It's been a while.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I teach math and I tell my students that mathematicians have a very difficult time with statements like always and very statements. So I don't have a favorite book, but maybe something that is two things that I have been working on is as a reader is one, getting much better at giving up on a book when it's just time to just like let it go. And then I'm feeling like I have to finish this book. And then also asking myself about kind of classic authors, like trying some of them to try to figure out like what's the deal, like why is this author been famous for so long? And it's led to some wonderful surprises. Like Edith Wharton is really, really funny, which I would never. It's hilarious and very, very pointed. And yet I have yet to finish anything by Leo Tolstoy. I just can't get there. Just to share the underbelly.
Wonderful. Well, thank you both. I hope after you get a feel for how the meeting runs tonight, you'll decide to stick with us.
Yeah. Do either of you guys have any questions now? I know that we're just like going through our normal meeting schedule.
Nothing that's worth like, I'm making a few notes that I can ask if there's nothing that's worth like taking reading time for.
Okay. Feel free to hit me up after. Find me.
And yeah, I guess I'll just confirm that after looking at the dates, the two dates that I do know are up for reappointment on the slate are Trish and I. Trish for her second 3-year term and me for my third 3-year term.
That's for this year's town meeting?
Yes. Plus 2 new trustees. Okay. But not Ben.
Is that something where it's just like by.
It's all like a slate. It's a slate. So it's like all of us in. Yeah. I mean, I have only been going to town meeting for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years. But I've never seen anybody stand up and say, actually, I think that person's a good fit.
It hasn't happened in the last 4 years.
Great. Okay. Personnel, I think I just have to keep.
I'm working on my.
Yes.
I am at the moment. Now that this fundraising report's done, throw more energy at doing my self-assessment, which is very late. And then when I see the door count, I'm like, okay, this is a little bit wide.
And all the grants you're writing, and
It's only one, but it's mega. Yeah.
Policy and bylaws. Who's on policy?
I don't remember, and I don't think there's been any
nothing to report.
any movement.
Buildings and grounds. Do you want to talk to us about the Tesla battery?
Yes, I got the Vermont, wait, now, what does VCRD stand for?
Vermont Council for Rural Development.
Thank you. Right. I got the Vermont Council for Rural Development Climate Catalyst Grant, for Tesla Powerwall batteries, 2 of them, for continuing to be able to run electricity when the power goes out. Well, right now, we don't have anything like that, and we don't have a generator. I did get quotes for propane powered generators, and talk to the installation people about what those would be like. Those do seem like maybe a good solution if we're facing really long power outages, but in my time here, we never have. It's usually been resolved in a matter of hours. And the Tesla Powerwall batteries do not require massive propane tanks or something that's going to kick on every day to test itself and make our neighbors crazy. So this is like a lower key solution, and they're also much cheaper. We received a grant for 4,000 of the $5,500 cost for the 2. That's subsidized by Green Mountain Power and Efficiency Vermont. So we got $4,000, which was the maximum for the grant. And I would like to ask the board for the additional $1,500 to install the Powerwall batteries.
Does one of us need to make a motion?
Yep.
To bring that along? So moved.
Second.
Now we can talk about it. You guys can shake me down for information I may or may not
Have any
have.
questions?
Well, I should say that especially the batteries make more sense because Green Mountain Power is putting a huge amount of money into strengthening their system with the idea of reducing the number of outages.
Right.
That's kind of some of what's going on down.
Right.
If we try to drive to Brattleboro. So that means that outages would be shorter.
Yeah.
And you can also cut back so that you can make it last longer.
Do you know how long they would last?
It really depends on, as Jim said, you could cut back and you could be like, well, we're going to reduce the heat, or we're not actually going to be open to the public completely, but people are welcome to charge their things at stations outside. It's going to depend on what the situation is, and what time of year it is.
I have Powerwall at home and it's never run out. It's gotten up over 21 hours.
Yeah.
Run out.
They said it
2
could,
houses.
yeah, it could be up to 2 or 3 days, just depending on the power draw, like the time of year. What are we using? We're about to be using heat pumps that are electric, but we would still have our oil heat. You know, it could really be. Yeah.
Is it an outright purchase or are
It's
you
an outright
paying a
purchase.
monthly?
No,
you know?
forget that. It's more expensive that way.
Yeah.
Plus we got the grant. So
So there's no
Surprised.
monthly fee?
not the way we're buying it.
Are there any constraints that have to do with the grant itself on like what you buy or how it's used?
It wasn't, it was just for climate resilience. So the project that I proposed they weren't saying like, pitch a grant for this really specific product. It was just like, pitch a grant that increases climate resiliency in your community.
Yep.
And something that happens here when other people in the community have power outages is everyone's here and they're using the internet. They're charging their devices, but they're also charging they're charging their phones and things, but they're also charging medical devices. Realizing that people were doing that, I was like, oh wow, this is like a big service we could potentially provide. But sometimes our power is out too. But we could be able to, be extending that. So there's no constraints on that. I think there's just reporting constraints, like write it, like thank the granting institution in the PR about it.
Let them know how it's doing a good job for our library in our town.
Yeah, so there's reporting on it, but nothing outlandish, nothing strict.
Okay.
The other thing I wanted to mention is that Putney Community Cares got a really similar Powerwall setup, but they hooked theirs up to their solar panels. Our roof is nearing the end of its life, and Southern Vermont Solar, who I worked with to get the quote and who are going to be doing the installation, they said, yes, please wait to put solar panels on your roof until after you replace your roof, because usually what happens is oftentimes I think they'll start installing solar panels and then realize the roof needs replacement and then have to kind of do it at the same time. I'm buying these in the way that we can expand to hook them up to solar panels later, like in the solar panel future.
Nice.
Anybody else have any questions about the Tesla battery?
Where will they go?
In the basement.
They're not big.
No,
Yeah,
actually, we
you
have
have
them,
some.
yeah. No, and they draw power sometimes, will that happen to you too? Like we have an app and you can look and they'll say like, we're drawing power from your batteries, and then if a storm is predicted, they're like, we're filling your batteries up.
I think so. I think they work the same way everybody else
Yeah.
does.
Yeah, I didn't
Part of
know.
the reason they're
Part of
cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're subsidized because we're becoming part of their network.
right, yeah, no, it's great.
The virtual power plant.
And once you have that, you will not have any power outages because you.
You mean it'll just prevent them?
Exactly,
Yeah.
you know how the. Yeah.
No, I like it.
Like an umbrella.
Yeah, exactly.
But I was imagining like some kind of field.
Like a yeah. Contains.
There are other companies out there, but this is the one that everyone seems to think.
Yeah.
You know, it's.
I know, but this is also the one that's subsidized by Efficiency Vermont.
Well, Green Mountain Power only do Teslas.
Yeah.
It used to be more open, but now they don't.
Yeah.
Is
Interesting.
is there a I think I know the answer to this question, but which line item does the money that would go to this come from? Is it from the I don't know what else to call it, but the general fund, that the trustees move money into and out of the endowment from?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so if you vote on it, it would come from fundraising money that you guys have hanging out presently in
Yep.
the trustees checking account.
That's yeah.
All right, do we feel ready to vote?
Let's do it.
Okay, has Ben made a motion? All in favor?
Thanks, guys.
You getting your money?
The other side of it.
Fundraising, Emily and I got the crepe application in. Susan, I hope it's okay that I put you as the secondary contact that I had to list.
I'm gonna recuse. I'm.
Okay. Darn it, I thought that would somehow like make it. I guess.
Well, it's okay because, I mean, they'll know that I'm involved,
Yeah.
but I'll just
Okay.
smile and say,
All right.
I like this
Oh.
one.
This
But
is
I
a
can't
good
vote
one.
on it.
Susan works for the institution that hosts the crepe night.
So Landmark Trust USA owns Scott Farm. Just,
So yeah, we'll hear about that, I think, in the spring.
we're meeting in beginning of March,
Okay,
so you'll hear
Yeah.
about it probably sometime in March.
okay. And before the appeal summary, maybe I'll just do the update quick. The Putney Craft Tour meeting, unfortunately, Emily and I found out about the meeting to start planning for this year's craft tour approximately 2 days before it was supposed to happen, and we were both going to be out of town. So it just happened on Sunday.
Yeah.
But we felt like Bob had the information that he needed about our interest in potentially being involved in some capacity. And so we'll just move forward from there.
We'll see. He also said something like, we didn't know it was Super Bowl Sunday when we planned this meeting. No, it might be that no one comes and we have to reschedule, which I'll just keep in touch with him about. I just have a note to call him again when I get back.
Yeah.
Does move ahead forward mean like we'll think about it for 2027 or something? Or are we just like, okay, we are probably going to be part of the craft tour this year and we just haven't figured out how?
We really don't know. We're really gonna have to talk to them about what their needs are. There's a way that Pierce's Hall is participating where they're a site for crafters to be, and the crafters who live really far away or don't get as many visitors were served well by coming to Pierce's Hall, and then Pierce's Hall does a food fundraiser, like they do soup sale or something like that, or soup and cornbread, and then they make money for their organization and host these crafters, and that's a model that exists.
In situ also, I mean, it's not a fundraiser, but Candace and Owen host they pay to be part of the craft tour, and then they allow one or two other artists to come in and show work that wouldn't otherwise be able to participate because they lack space or for whatever reason. So there are definitely like models out there for spaces allowing artists to show, which helps the craft tour, but then also, yeah, I guess the Pierce's Hall with like the fundraising component with the food, like would be more what we're angling for.
But we also,
Something similar in the space, the main room of the library, perhaps.
right, we will get more information, but the way Pierce's Hall works, just really quick, it's not so easy as like, great, sounds perfect. The crafters that go to Pierce's Hall pay their full fee towards the craft tour to be on the craft tour and then are at Pierce's Hall. This kind of, we don't exactly have a policy that covers this specific thing, but it's not like anything else we do in terms of charge. We're not charging anyone, but somebody is paying in order to be here. And it's a little bit not like, it's a little bit completely different from everything else we say we do and don't do. So it's to be understood more from us going to the meeting and then us talking it through as a group.
And then also, would the library be open during the craft tour hours?
That's a great question because it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And so it is, generally we're not open the Friday after Thanksgiving, which is also a little weird, but we can talk that through too. We're also not open on the Saturday of the book sale, normal hours.
Right.
And all those poor confused people that come in trying to use computers. But anyway, so there is a precedent for closing the library for a fundraiser. But we can talk more about it and chew on it as a group.
I think once ideally, someone will be able to get to a meeting and get more clarity around what this could look like, because I think we want it to feel beneficial to the craft tour also. But yeah, like sort of understanding what the different models are that could work.
And whether it's
both.
and whether it's worth the energy, like, if we do a soup and bread sale for 1 day or 2 days of it, like what's our expected outcome from that versus like what we're doing or how we're.
Is Irene involved in the Pierce's Hall?
Great question.
Maybe Irene could help us understand what it's looked like for them.
Yeah, they've
in
done
previous years.
They've done it for 2 years now. So
if it's been worth.
And for us, is it more of a fundraiser or more of a community?
I think we were thinking about it as diversifying fundraising, like it came up during those conversations.
Okay.
Did they approach you or did you approach them?
We approached them. We were just thinking about like times when there's a ton of people in town and wondering if the craft tour wanted like more downtown presence. It just came out of thoughts about events and fundraising, like during other things that are pre-existing.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Is there, I haven't been on the craft tour for a while, but I'm wondering, is there a central place? I might be the winery, but I'm not sure if there's a central place where people could come when they first come and get their maps and maybe have coffee and things like that. Does that exist?
I think it is at the winery.
I think it is too.
Yeah. I was just thinking you might not want to compete with, maybe you don't care, with Pierce's Hall, too much.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Different need.
Anyway, would you like to give us the appeal summary?
Would I ever? You guys see the big multicolored spreadsheet? People who love spreadsheets are gonna love this. People who don't like spreadsheets are still gonna be baffled because there's a lot going on here. And everyone else, I'm sorry. But you guys asked for a year-over-year you asked for a 3-year comparison with like cost benefit of the different ways we fundraise. And this is meaningful because the orange year, fiscal year 24, we did a full zip code mailing of 2,283 pieces that we had Chrissy Lee design for us.
That was 2003, 2004.
4, yeah.
23, 24.
Yeah.
That was the full zip.
Yeah, that was the full zip mailing. And you can see costs and recipients down below, like the breakdown.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so we did that year, and you can see how many donations we received and in what quantities. And you can also see down below there's like information about how many people paid cash, check, or PayPal, recurring donations, and how those were paid. We've had one recurring check writer, or like kind of a subscription. I think they have it sent by their bank. And we also know how many new donors there were that year. There were 25 new donors, and the total they donated was $4,859. And then the 2 years since then, we have reused elements of Chrissy Lee's original design that we did during fiscal year 24, the orange. So in the green and blue, we were kind of remixing parts of that design, and using the CNS Wholesale Grocers printing grant, which pays for printing completely. And then we all stuffed and mailed them. And for each of those, we mailed about 300 pieces, 300 appeals to people that had donated in the previous 5 years for both of those. And then you can see how, the totals of how many people donated and what the spread of the donations was. I think when you were asking me to do this, we thought it was going to be like when we spent a lot on a design and did the full zip code mailing, it was going to be like blow it out of the water, like, oh my gosh, we made so much money. And it's not really the case. It's really like totally different factors. I think we have an awesome design. I'm really glad we've been able to reuse parts of it, which was the intent when we spent money with Chrissy the first time. And she also really gave us a mega deal.
Deep discount.
And she donated her labor in 2025 because we used almost the same pamphlet and just changed a couple of things. And then we had her do the letter layout with those elements, and we gave her the letter, and she did that this year, and that was, her cost was $380. So you can see the different combos of things we've done for printing and design, and how much money we've made. And there's not like a great, like, when we do more of this happens. But I think from my fundraising class, I've learned it's way more subtle. Everybody I know who works at a nonprofit met their goal, their appeal goal by now. Susan and I were talking about this.
We did too.
Yeah, Landmark did. So did Next Stage and the Food Shelf and other organizations elsewhere. So I think it was a really good year for giving, for a lot of reasons. I think for libraries, a lot of it had to do with the IMLS being defunded, being in the news, and library funding being in peril. Library programs in other places being like very visibly canceled. We don't have anything like that was canceled. The board continued the funding for the music and movement program, which is like one of the things where the grant just like went away. So we've been able to really maintain our programming without too much tumultuousness or, unpredictability. But it was in the news, IMLS stuff was in the news, and whether people were following it closely or not, they kind of knew about it. And I think donating is a thing people know they can do that will definitely help. We have more PayPal. We definitely have way more PayPal donors. And if you want to look in the blue section about new donors, a lot of the 15 out of the 21 new donors are PayPal donors. We also have 6 new donors that donated by check.
I have a question.
Please.
So you got 25 new donors in 23. When you got to FY 26, do you know if you kept those donors?
That's a great question. I am unsure if the new donors from those years have been retained, and I could figure that out for next meeting, but it's no, I am still like learning the little green light software, but also the data for any year before this year is a little bit weird, in part because we didn't have a way to track different kinds of donations. We didn't have a way to track book sale income versus tote bag sales versus annual appeal. It all just like went into one line with the book, with bookkeeping at town hall. And I've worked with the treasurer to tease those apart. The things that are in the $40,061 from this year are only annual appeal things. And at the end of the fiscal year, it's not going to be mixed with anything else. Like we're going to be able to track our income across different lines. But in terms of donor retention, I'm not sure about that.
Mhm.
Susan showed me her fundraising software and it has like more fancy
Yeah, I
stuff.
can do reports like that really easily.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
that there's a way to make Little Green Light do that specific thing or donations
I
year
can
to
look
year.
at it too if you want me to.
Right, I can also print out a report with like everyone that's donated in the last 5
Yeah,
years
yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
which years. The way it seems to have broken down, I will say, is that about 100 to 120 people per year are people that always donate. Almost every year, like 20 to 25 new donors, and then there's 30 to 40 recaptured donors of people that donate sometimes.
Mhm.
I don't have a beat on why. It's like this.
It's when you hit them,
Yeah.
when the mailing comes,
Right.
they come back again. I have it at work, but it's a certain percentage that shows that you're healthy, that you have recurring donors, a
Right.
certain percentage. I can send that to you.
We definitely have recurring donors, or there's people that have donated every year since the library was built. Like which is incredible. Like there's people going back, 15, 20 years who have donated every year and probably before that. And I just don't have the records for it. But did you have a question, Jim?
Yeah, so the green and the yellow are for the full fiscal year, and we obviously are not at the end of the full fiscal year.
No, and actually I prepared this matrix for you about this time each year. So actually these are not the totals for the full
Okay,
fiscal year. It's
okay,
like
so
about
it's
this time.
apples and apples.
Yeah,
Mhm.
as much as possible.
So, but for the extra $10,000,
Mhm.
we'd be basically the same as last year.
You'd think so. Last year is weird, and here's why. Because it's not, it sounds like apples to apples, but we had a library birthday party by now last year.
Mhm.
And that included a lot of people doing the gift books, and that was tracked through donation. And anybody that paid by PayPal, it looks like it's really hard to tease apart. Like, okay, what was somebody adopting a book versus this other thing? So it's a bunch of that, like up $2,000 to $3,000 of that is different. We've also received a little bit more income since this, like another $200 or $300. But yeah.
So, I mean, the only thing or one thing that I see is that this year there are more donations at the 100 to 500. In other words, those two boxes, 38 and 13.
Yeah, we're up like 18.
Up a lot and really a lot from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And the lower ones were down.
Right.
So I don't know if that's information that means anything.
I noticed that
it makes a difference. I don't know. And if so, even if it is, if there's anything we can do about it.
People are increasing their donations,
Yeah.
the percentage, I think. But there's also something I was also told, because tax laws are changing. So that's why you might have gotten larger donations. I don't know, but I was thinking that people were just, I mean, in our case, historic preservation's under threat, so that's why we probably, and libraries are under threat. But people have increased, ever so slice. Like people that gave us 100 were now giving us 150.
And here's where more granularity would help.
Yeah.
People say, oh, there's a bunch of people who were in the first two lines, and now they're in the second.
And that's the hope when
third, fourth one.
that you do move them up over time.
Right.
And maybe that's something we want to get into with the fundraising committee. I felt like that level of granularity was like gonna make us in a normal meeting.
Just
like
asking,
I think you're right. And I was noticing gifts seem larger. I noticed a bunch of people that hadn't donated in a couple of years coming back and donating. I also did, because I took the fundraising class, I also did way more reminding than I usually do. I also did the fundraising thermometer at like the last little bit, which actually was incredibly effective. In the past, when I've sent out the library newsletter, it's never been like, it's always contained the appeal with all the links about it. And then but I've never, ever once seen a bunch of people donate after I send out the newsletter. And that really did happen this time. I featured it. I said, help us reach our goal. You know, I think in the past I've sort of shied away from like asking in the newsletter because I was like, that's not what anyone gets the newsletter for, but it is the way that we're talking to a lot of people. Yeah. But the class has emboldened me to more irritating.
So, observation from a conversation I've had with a number of people, when you did we want to reach our goal of $40,000, several people, 2 or 3 people, men, in fact, said to me, why does the library have to raise $40,000? Don't they get money from, that's a lot of money. Don't they get that money from the town? You know, they don't really understand why and what it's used for. Maybe they're not plugged into what goes on at town meeting or whatever, but I don't know if that's a common perception that people don't really understand. I know you plug it all the time and it's in the flyers and all, but I think for some people, they just, don't understand what the money's, why you do it.
No, I completely understand. I think that, I don't know, I've definitely, before my time in nonprofits, I'd be like, why does Sojourns need my donation? Like, don't money these other ways. But it is definitely like, we can write it in the appeal all we want. Maybe we need a song.
Right. Yeah, I do feel like it was in the sentence that followed, like, help us raise $40,000. But I hear what you're saying. Like, there's definitely that perception that, like, the library is funded by the town and like,
and that's true.
And that pays for everything. But
well, I mean, I think there was also this conversation in the sense of, was the library in trouble? Is there something going, is this bad? Is there something happening that they really need this money for? Like you're going to close.
Books.
More expensive every year.
I'm curious though, the people who would ask that question, this might sound like a really troubling statement to make, but I feel like the people who have the money to give and are in the habit of giving understand that all nonprofits rely on additional revenue. I mean, I feel like the people who are asking that question almost by default then probably like they might have the question, but they're not really a donor we're trying to capture.
I mean, it's also, we're in a unique position in that we talk to everybody, or like we see everybody, and a ton of our patrons who don't own their own computer and are using computers are donors. And I think a lot of that comes from individual one-on-one conversations, and a $25 donation helps for sure. But in terms of, those people, anyone asking that question is not gonna be, or not thinking about cutting us a check for $500, but decide not to because we get tax money. You're right, but we do have a lot of smaller donors for sure.
But this also makes me think of like we had one donor this year, right? That like made a $1,500 donation on behalf of their business, and they didn't know we raised money every year.
Right.
Like it just hadn't occurred to them that the library does fundraising. So I do think those people are out there too, that just like it's almost the opposite. Like, oh, I mean, maybe it's the same. Like that idea that the town funds us, but then once they realize we also raise money to pay, then they're willing to give.
Right.
I'm wondering if we should have like a little presentation board that shows your donation dollars at work or something like that, so that people begin to, as they walk in, they get hit by that all the time. And that begins to answer the question, but without asking for money.
The things that the board specifically funds are the parks passes and the programs. And part of like what I want to launch is that at every program we say that donations make the programs possible. It's like the fun stuff, 100% funded by fundraising.
Yep.
What were you gonna say then?
I was going to say that when I was preparing to thank everybody at the community supper,
Mhm.
I asked the board, what would you like me to say? And that was what you had said. And so Emily sent me an email with a long list of services that the library offers that are funded primarily through these donations. And so, like, not all, like, I'm not going to talk for 15 minutes about that at the community supper. So there is still this reservoir of things that Emily's already put together that could go into
A song.
exactly.
I encourage them to talk like they do at the end of radio ads.
The stuffed animals, and they're all holding little signs that say,
That's right.
he pays for this.
Yes,
It's
you're
the
right.
takeout that the stuffed animals order when we.
You're right. Can I also say thank you for putting this together, Emily. It's really helpful, I think, to see it. I think we have a couple of things that we could hypothesize based on this data and then test whether those hypotheses are true by looking at subsequent years. So, like, one of those is that we have, like, in one sense, our new donors remains about the same. Like, that statistically, the changes is not big enough to say, but it is decreasing. So I wonder if one of the things about doing a full zip mail or investing in printing has kind of like a decay rate. It's like an arithmetic decay rate, but it is not but it might be there nonetheless. And so that might be a signal that if we tracked it would tell us when it was good to start a new full zip mail. And I also think that it would be like our total donations remains roughly the same year to year, but the relative portions of how much each bracket donates has changed year to year. And I wonder if we will continue to see a slight rise in the average donation over time, right? Or not, like, because like you were saying, there might be real drivers in the world right now that are making that average donation among small donors go up.
I mean, inflation.
Yeah, that too.
When a meal goes from $70 to $100, you're more used to spending $100.
Yeah.
That's true.
Groceries.
Anecdotally, as someone who wrote thank you notes, I felt like the donations were much larger per person this year than last.
That's how I felt too.
Yeah. And even people I remembered who had given last year, I thought, I think they're giving more than they did.
Right. Fundraising committee can look at the nitty gritty and we can come up with some strategies. One of the things I learned in my class that I want to really put into practice now that this year is kind of getting finished is for next year to do something where we're encouraging people that gave $100 and less to making a monthly donation of any size, because it will inevitably be more. If you give, if you give $10 a month instead of $100, that's $20 more per person. And we do have one more. We have two PayPal recurring donors, and that ends up being a lot because one of them is $12.50 and one of them is $15 a month. And there was somebody whose payment method kept failing, who was trying to just give $5 a week, which was like, wow, that actually ends up being a lot. And I think a lot of people prefer to give that way because it spreads the burden over, so we can, it's not just like weather, like we can actually help steer it rather than just sending it out and seeing how it does.
There's one thing though, I don't know if you get fees taken out of PayPal.
We do.
So, we try to get people to do it through their bank, the ACH, that way, ACH, is that right?
I know.
Yeah.
Because then there's no fees and you get, so that $5 is $5, not $4.50.
Do most people pay the fee?
Not sometimes, but I know that, that it still ends up like cutting some of the value, even when you pay the fee, because you can never quite figure it out. So you end up having to pay something.
And I think you might have to opt into that. Like, I don't think
you have
it
to opt
asks, like the library doesn't.
It asks.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to say it's about 50-50 on whether people pay the fee or not. I could actually figure that out for you, but. Like
Do you
you-
have any plans to reach out to your new donors in particular, or your bigger donors? And I know you talked about that in earlier fundraising meetings. Particularly new donors, to thank them and encourage them, and recognize that people are giving more money, and particularly thank them.
I mean, it ironically came up at our strategic planning meeting last week because it's one of our goals. It's one of our steps within the strategic plan too, to be having that like contact with first-time donors. I don't think we got anywhere with that particular step.
We were holding off
Yeah.
on it because we couldn't identify necessarily who they were, but I don't know if
No.
that's still true.
That is, I have been able to finally put the time in and like figure it out, but doing it like while the donations are coming in is not going to happen. I think
Yeah.
that was my
Right.
ultimate dream, is
That there would
like,
be a
I'd be
lapse.
able to like be handing you guys lists of three people, or 5 people that were
Yep.
first-time donors, like in the weeks before Christmas, and it's just not going to happen.
Mhm.
There's some big roadblocks just technologically with how I have to process donations, especially now that I can't remote into the town's finance system anymore because of their tech contract does not extend to us. It's new and really annoying.
I would say that 21 new donors is a very manageable list, and that even though this might be several months later, like even just a call saying, hey, I'm on the board. I just wanted to know, we noticed that you were a new donor this year, and like your donations are going to make these very specific things possible, and thanks so much, could still be a powerful thing to do, even if it is March by the time we get to
when
it.
I call new donors, I ask, is there anything in particular that interests you? And then you can note that.
Right.
Mhm.
I guess what I'm saying is I'm happy to be somebody who makes some of these calls if we have a list and we put it together.
Mhm.
I can definitely give you the list. Is anyone else interested in making first-time donor phone calls?
I would make some phone calls.
Okay.
Well, I would if you thought it was appropriate. I'd be happy to.
Yay, thanks, Janice.
Janet.
She's good at talking to people.
I know.
Well, I know a lot of them. I'd like to meet new people.
That's true. All right, well, I'll get that to you guys. It is possible now. It does take, I know that I'm gonna get better at little green lighting, but right now it's still really clunky. A lot of times I'm just trying to just clean up data from the past, basically, that was messy when we brought it in from our old system.
When it says past donors, how far back does that go?
5 years.
Thanks for putting this together, Emily.
Yeah, thank you.
It's very lovely to look at.
Yeah.
All right, strategic planning. We met last week, I think it was, and we decided we need to meet again because there's a lot to go over. We decided that we should have a retreat this year, that it is worthwhile for us to be able to have that more spacious meeting time, and also that it's really nice for new trustees, like to get to know the board a little bit better.
It's also part of our strategic plan that we meet in April.
Also recognize that it is in our strategic plan.
Which is not, as Ben pointed out last meeting, a good enough reason. We have other reasons.
Yes, it felt like there was reason enough for us to meet. And so the strategic planning committee is meeting again in 2 weeks, I believe. It's like the first week of March. It's town
Okay.
meeting week.
Right
So
after town meeting.
few weeks. So by the March meeting, we'll have information about the retreat, but we're hoping to do that in April.
And the offer still stands if you want to have it at one of our
Yes,
properties.
yes, I did have it noted somewhere. Thank you,
Especially
Susan.
if it's April, I think things are slow, so maybe I'll even let you into Oaxaca.
Oh, that's fun.
Nice.
Like, oh, watching my billiard.
We'll just play billiards.
You go up to the 3rd floor.
Trish and Ben, do you guys feel like there are other things that we're ready to report out on about that meeting, or does that feel pretty complete?
I think that one thing that makes me really happy is that the work that we put into the strategic plan is really useful for the library. Like Emily was saying that she and Julia use the strategic plan to help them make decisions about what the library will do and how it will spend time and energy and money. And that was cool. And like they're checking things off that list. Like much of that meeting was spent looking at very specific action steps in the plan. And the majority of them were like, yep, we did that. Yep, we did that. Yep,
It's
we
really
did that.
satisfying.
Yeah.
And then there's new website and it's like, oh.
Oh, I was gonna ask about that.
We glossed over that one.
Okay.
Plan. We didn't check it off. It's definitely not happened yet. It's just
Not 3 more years.
Yeah, the only thing I feel like I can add is, especially with the website example that we were talking about, is like, not everything, has to fall on Emily, that either like the board can take on things, or it's something that we decide as a board, hey, this is really important. We need to hire someone to bring someone in to do this. So just to be able to prioritize these different items in the strategic plan, to know, okay, this is like at the forefront, like it's worth, because as Emily said, the website isn't on fire. And so that just gets, sort of knocked down. So the strategic plan is just super helpful for us to prioritize what we really want to tackle.
Yeah.
And then if it's like, if it's too much for Emily's plate, because it's just more and more stuff is getting piled on, and you can see with the number of people coming in and the number of programs and everything, something that we did talk about is like, hey, like, do we need to increase Emily's hours? Like, that's something to talk about, right? So just like making things sustainable for Emily and the staff, and like, if it can't fall on the board, how can the board provide for Emily and the staff to keep making things sustainable? I feel like is a lot of what the strategic plan is about.
And can I add on to what you're saying, that a lot of the reasons that Emily and Julia are balancing 6 things every time I come into the library is in part because of the strategic plan. We talked about how like there was this space where we set a trajectory about what the library would be, and we basically made a bunch of work. And now, we have a lot of things that are at capacity that weren't necessarily there before, which is a great thing in some ways, because that means we're like the library is providing all of these things to the community that it wasn't doing before. And I'm like, what's that graph in the back of Emily's director report here? Like, is a sign that that's being really successful, but it also means that we can't continue to grow. Like, we don't have the same capacity to keep growing into that we did when we set the goals in the strategic plan.
There's more stuffed animals every year.
Happen at
VIP party.
Hey.
Hey, Jim's on to something.
Sleepover was last night. Stuffed animals only sleepover. And they get all kinds of mischief. And the stuffed animal count does increase.
$5 to get in the door.
That should have been my trustee fact. Yeah.
What kind of stuffed animal?
Well, unicorns were really having a moment. This week there was a lot of foxes. The trends are amazing.
That's the next spreadsheet.
I know. That's like the granularity of the
graphics.
adult. You said adults bring.
Adults do bring their stuffed animals. I think we only had 3 adults this year, and I, for the first time, was one of them. I generally bring my stuffed animal. I was anticipating a dip in attendance, but I was wrong. I don't know why I thought that.
What?
That it was a dip in attendance, that there might be a dip in attendance.
What is the strategic plan timeline? Is it, you got every 5 years, every 10 years?
It's an excellent question. We found many documents with different lengths of time on them. But what we determined, this would be the end of this year would be the end of the 3rd year of this plan. And we thought there's still stuff that we haven't done within that strategic plan. And that feels like the more useful metric for guiding, like when it has sort of reached its capacity once there's nothing else left to work on within it, because the staff, like Emily was pointing out, they're often generating new steps within these broader umbrellas of ways that they're serving the community. But there's still tasks for the trustees that we haven't, figured out how to accomplish yet. So I realize that's not like a totally an
Well,
answer, but
you're in year 3 of a plan.
we're in year 3 of our plan.
Without a clear, like, this is a 5-year.
We were
plan.
a 3 to 5 year plan, and we were like, coming out of COVID, and it was sort of like,
Right.
I feel like it was shaped.
What is time?
Yeah, what it was shaky ground in terms of like planning for these sorts of things. It's like, maybe we'll be able to increase people spending time with each other. We don't know.
Was there a strategic plan before that one?
There was, and it ran out, was that, it was a 5-year plan, and we did it almost as soon as I got here we started it in late 2015. We did all of the meetings because it was really soon after I got here. And then I think maybe it was I think it was actually a 3-year plan, because it expired in like late, we were like starting to talk about it. We knew that we were kind of like running on fumes of it in 2019, and we're like, well, we're gonna start a new strategic planning process where we're gonna deal with a global pandemic, which
COVID.
we just put it off. But then a lot of libraries did strategic plans like coming out of COVID, just with new considerations in mind.
And I would say we kind of lengthened our process a little bit because we had the good fortune of coinciding with the whole VCRD process that unfolded in the town, which allowed us to collect a lot of information and useful data from those meetings around what the community was really feeling like they needed, to help us craft something that felt like it was responding to that.
Right.
Okay. Town library relationship, we'll hear more about this meeting that the select board wants to have after town meeting. Nothing on the garden, I'm guessing. Sleeping soundly.
Yeah.
I think fair compensation was wrapped up with the budget.
Just go to town meeting.
Yep.
Go approve our
Yes.
budget. It's part of the general fund budget, so support the general fund budget.
Supper recap, I think Emily already touched on that we got another year of like really positive response. It felt like everybody coming through the line was happy with the food. They were happy just to see, I think definitely like Emily's face, which is very familiar, face of the library, and we had enough. We had enough food. We managed to donate, I don't know, like 25 quarts of chili to the food shelf. We have to remember to bring yogurt containers in here.
Amber mercifully had a lot of.
I mercifully live within like a mile of Next Stage. More deviled eggs.
That's popular.
I think they could have made 3 times as many.
All disappear.
Yep.
How many did you make, Jim?
I think it said 68.
And you made like a dozen or 2?
I can jump in
I-
next year.
I did you make 68 eggs or 68 halves?
No, 60 halves.
Okay. So
that.
I made 24, some were eaten at home, 22. Did anyone else make deviled eggs? I just feel like this is the kind of stuff last year where next year we're gonna be like, what?
Yeah.
How
So
many
we
did
had we had 80 halves.
Yeah.
Yes. And we need more.
And
I'll make.
150 would
Rice,
get
right?
eaten. but
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think.
Well,
I make as many.
3. I think
We had 3 instant pots of rice.
it was actually the
Four,
exact
yeah.
amount.
Okay.
I think the rice was perfect.
I
The
might have-
salad was pretty perfect.
I feel like I was cheating people on the rice a little.
I still have 2 gallons of salad dressing in my fridge.
Sorry,
Oh.
Amber. We can free them. We don't need 2 gallons
And
of salad dressing.
less cilantro.
Yeah, I bought way too
Every
much
bit of
cilantro.
bread and bread was eaten.
Right.
Yeah.
One thing we asked at the strategic planning meeting was about the time of year that we enlist ourselves for the community supper next year. We have large events in winter, summer, and spring. So we were thinking about fall. I don't know if that is
Yeah.
something that should go in the recap or not, but it just
Well,
came to
what's
mind.
I think we need to reach out to Jessica like right now to try to secure a fall spot.
Wait, what's the winter?
Our celebration of the
solstice.
horseshoe
The short.
on the shortest night or longest night.
But fall, if we do the craft tour,
That
Mhm.
they actually don't do the community supper in October because of Halloween in Putney.
Mhm.
So it
And we
would
did
have to
September,
be,
and it was like 300 people.
it was a lot.
that's a lot.
So
Did we have?
We actually never know. They don't count. They don't have a door
Did you
counter.
Like you had a
I
guesstimate.
had a guesstimate. I was thought in advance, well, we've got to pin this down. And
yeah.
when I started to try to do that, I realized it's really difficult to
We
do.
got
because
one of those
people
little
in and
clickers.
out and-
We have them at work.
But even if you have one of those,
Yeah.
the crowd is so,
Amorphous.
yeah, it's
We
moving.
could ask Nancy.
I think I said
Did
135
you know how
maybe.
many came in?
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Didn't you say Nancy's husband? Sorry.
I think
Yeah.
it's not far off 135.
Well, if you
Easily.
know how many they set up for, that gives you the base. And that number changed. It was 90 and then it was 150. I don't know what it is now, but if you know that, because not that many people come and leave anymore. People tend to hang out, which is kind of part of the problem in the winter because there isn't space.
Yeah.
But there was, I thought as it was beginning, oh my God, there's not going to be place for everybody to sit down, but it turned out there was place for everybody to sit down because there's a fair amount of movement out. I also thought that there would be fewer people there because it was November and not July.
Yeah.
And I don't think that was right. I think there was as many people. It seemed like the same kind of size of crowd that I've seen there before. So,
But that one we did in September was out and around the
Outside.
outside.
yeah, even so,
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I was amazed at how many people showed up.
I was too. The other one was huge.
I do think if we want to be picky about our month, I think we probably need to reach out to Jessica soon and let her know what months we would prefer so that they don't get snatched by the other town organization. Yeah, we were supposed to be November and Landmark, they double booked us with Landmark.
And they have their own kitchen.
Yes, they do. They do.
I haven't gotten the invoice from Elena yet, and I'm going.
Oh, yes.
I'll ask her.
Yes, that will be interesting to see too. Yeah, does anybody else have any thoughts about how they felt like it went or?
I thought it was really well attended. It was a really cold night and people came out. I thought I wouldn't go out.
It was a great vibe. Everyone said, there's such a good feeling. And it was kind of different than other ones for that.
It was different.
I mean, it was connection of the people that are putting it together is very positive.
It felt like a different crowd to me too. Like I recognized like maybe a quarter of the people that came through the line, which felt really different than other community suppers.
I encourage,
which was fun.
I'm just was inviting people at the desk or saying that if you've never been to one because you think you're not going to know anyone, I'll be there.
You'll know me. Super. Well, do we have a sense of would we prefer the fall or would we prefer winter again?
We could reach out to Jessica and ask what's available.
Just ask okay, I'll start there. And in March, you can all be ready to vote on the months that she responds.
Penny's convinced me that fall is not the ideal time, so that's good. Thank you.
Doors is nice.
Yeah, you're really busy.
I think a lot of people don't come in the winter because they're worried about close proximity and the roads could be bad. Like there are all these different factors in the winter.
And it's so crowded.
Yeah.
That's that's the winter factor. I mean,
yeah, it's kind of intense in that space.
Yeah. But the library one was lovely.
Thanks. All right. Jim, do you want to report out on how you felt like the Our Future Putney meeting went?
Yeah, I don't think this needs to take much time, and Janice, you were there, you should say anything that you might have to say, but just to give you a sense of what happened. It that organization has done a good job of organizing meetings. The first set that they did, I thought were extremely well organized. This one wasn't so well organized, but it had parts. The first part was sort of let's all congratulate each other and ourselves because we've done such good stuff and so on, and eat some food. And so that sort of happened. And then there was a part where there are three major groups because there are three major sort of action items that were identified. And the one most relevant to us was development of the downtown district. And people came up who had been working on those and made presentations, but it just kind of became this list, and I didn't find that I don't know how you felt about it, Janice, but it was sort of overwhelming, and there's just a long list of things
that
what they were doing, what they had done. And it was impressive, and there are lots of people involved and lots of stuff going on, but it was kind of hard to.
Yeah,
I agree. I think they spent a lot of time in the beginning doing this big visioning thing,
Right.
like think ahead 20 years. I mean, I'm not going to be here
Right.
20 years, 50 years,
Yeah.
but what would you like to come back to? But there wasn't
Right.
any follow-up. Like, so then how do you get from here to there? That was frustrating to me to just do more visioning thing, big visioning.
Right.
I appreciated the people that got up and spoke. I don't think they themselves, they couldn't keep to a short time frame, so they went on much longer. The only one that I thought was organized and really was the housing person, Marisol. What's her name? Ebersol, Marisol,
Yes.
Marcella.
Marcella. The others, just as you said, they were like, yeah, just reciting things. So you did get impression that people were doing things, which was more than I didn't know the housing group were doing anything.
Well, it was a good opportunity in that for everybody there to say, oh, I'm interested in that. I need to go talk to that person some more. So that was helpful. The envisioning part of it, I thought they didn't do a good job of explaining because
it was a waste of time.
it seemed like they wanted these really kind of large amorphous
What's the
ideas to come out of that. And the one thing that came out of that for me and was there was some talk about the refurbishing of the paper mill and what that could be as sort of a
That was a
central place. And I thought, wow, that's They said that they were going to write down all the things that people did say in this segment of the program and email it out to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And they took everybody's email address. That hasn't happened. I don't know if it is going to happen. I don't know what it'll look like if it does happen. And then, sorry.
The email that came out. Maybe this past week, there was like
I missed it.
from like the VCRD team.
Did you get something from VCRD?
I could have. I've kind of messed up with my emails right now. I think I did like it. Then they had, mingling kind of thing.
Right.
And there were different stations. The housing people had a station. Dawn King had a very nice thing set up of her process for renovating the greenhouse. But beyond that, she had all printed out the money she got, where she got the grants from, how this worked. And her goal is to put herself forward as a person that can help you get money for an accessory dwelling unit or renovate your house for apartments. Mm-hmm. She really wants to be active in that. Mm-hmm. So that was really practical, and there were a lot of people looking at that.
And there are a few other things like that were useful. So I mean, I don't think it had much particular relevance to library activity. But
I wouldn't say
a lot of good things are happening. A lot of people are working on them.
Thanks for reporting out. The reason I was particularly interested in this meeting is that even though I personally I went to a couple of the downtown meetings, and I've continued to go to ones that have come out of that. But we drew a lot of inspiration about our gardens and outdoor space from that process, and what we just heard people talking about, even if they didn't become full priority. So the benches, the gathering area, the additional chairs we have, the trees, Pretty much the whole design of the outdoors came because, what came together because of input from that meeting, from those meetings. And I wondered if I was like, I wonder if they're gonna want to know what was accomplished and we could say something about the library, but it sounds like there was no space for that.
There was not space for
Yeah.
that.
It's too bad.
Yeah.
You talked about planting trees. I can't remember the context for that, and I'm not aware of people planting trees.
Except us.
Except for us.
Except us.
Cool, thanks.
All right, thanks, Jim. Thanks, Janice. All right, new business. So town meeting is in a few weeks on March 3rd. It would be great if there were a few of us there to speak on behalf of the library, should we need to. Doesn't seem like,
Generally comes up early,
yeah.
and so you can go, then leave.
Is town first before school this year?
We don't, it's not a
It's-
co-meeting anymore.
Right.
Yeah, making it way easier.
But not any shorter.
No, not any shorter.
It's like a gas that will just expand to fill like whatever the container is.
I really wish I
Mostly ends up being like second or third on the agenda,
Right.
so that's super
That's
early,
really
but
early.
then the budget ends up being like a before lunch and then after lunch.
If you're lucky, it's before lunch because people are like, yeah, let's approve the multi-million-dollar gigantic, it's part of the general fund budget. And then everyone picks apart like a $2,000 expense like later in the meeting. But I'll be there the whole time. So, or at least through our relevant items.
Bring your knitting.
Yes.
Bring your knitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, Emily, and I talked about, I'm gonna bring back that,
Right.
display board that we brought to the community supper with all the photos of people like engaged in programming here at the library. And then we thought we would raffle off a tote again.
Yes, I don't know what the riddle is gonna be this year.
Yeah,
Anybody that guesses gets a ticket. It's very low bar.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
and Nancy's husband will probably guess on the nose
Yeah.
right away. All right, Thomas.
You don't get anything better from getting it right. You just are like, it's just to engage someone in a conversation and stun them. with
bragging
their
rights.
Mind-blowing
Well, that's-
statistics. Yeah,
Yeah.
they don't get anything different. Like, I like when kids guess, and they're like 5 pieces of the library, but it's like, that's too low. You get a raffle ticket anyway.
All right. Well, our next board meeting, public comment?
Yes.
Janice,
Oh,
say
yeah.
anything.
Well, a couple of things. First of all, I mean, Mike doesn't know who I am, and I've been bouncing around here. I was on the board for a long time, and I had to step down, like Kevin, last March because I had done three-year terms as well, and I was the chairperson for part of that time. I wanted to be here tonight because it was Kevin's last night, but because of my road and everything, I decided it was better for me to just Zoom in. So Kevin, I just wanted to chime in and say thank you for everything you did while I was on the board and what a great support you were to me.
Thank you, Jess.
You're welcome. And I actually made chocolate cupcakes for you because you always brought them. I've got them right here. The food shelf's going to get them on Friday. But I did have another comment though, Trish. I was in conversation with a woman, Liz Twiss, I guess, who is on the board at the Westminster West Library. And I was at a community garden thing with her, and she was raving about our minutes. She said, I read your minutes all the time because when I got in this position, I didn't know how to write good minutes. And so she goes on and reads our minutes all the time and is using the template that you use. So your work is recognized far and wide.
Don't tell that woman that.
No.
All right.
Well, it was fun to be with you again.
Thanks, Janice.
Thanks, Janice.
Okay, our next board meeting will actually be the third Tuesday of the month. March 17th at 6:30 here.
Stay.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hopefully. We'll bring green stuff.
Whiskey, Irish whiskey.
Um, all right, I will call to adjourn at 8:03.
I'll second.
All in favor? Yay.
I'll stop the recording.
Janice,
Yay.
are you good? Well, meeting's over.
I'm here.
No.
This is